So to be honest, I'm not good at opening my speech with an anecdote. So I have a few questions for you. You can keep your answers in your mind because some of them involve your private thoughts. First, do you have any close friends in life? This could be your classmates who accompany you every day. Second, have you ever feared that your friendship will end for some reason? Third, have you ever heavily relied on your friend for anything, like emotional support? Last, have you ever hid your true self, like not telling your friends how you really feel in your friendship? Have an answer already? Okay, this might not be easy to hear, but for the last 3 questions, if your answers were certain, it is possible that you're experiencing codependency in friendships. So what is that? According to a Mental Health America website, there are several signals to that. First, the friendship might be one-sided, meaning that one is always giving energy and the other is always taking. And the codependent person, or known as the giver in this situation, may have great need or approval for recognition, like from their friend. They may also lack trust in themselves or others, and may even fear of being abandoned when their friends are not with them. In the past few years, I've experienced the exactly same thing. I've encountered imbalances in my friendship in terms of giving and taking. And unfortunately, I used to be the codependent one, giving more energy than I was receiving back. And when something happens interpersonal conflicts, I often ask myself, oh, what did I do? Oh, what should I do? Oh, is my friend mad? Something like that. I ask myself these questions again and again, often blaming myself for being wrong even when I wasn't. And that created great mental stress for me. But after a constant experience of this, I wanted to make a change. When reviewing online, I encountered this quote from Jane Salsack, a counselor. To put in a single term, they, the codependent people, are people pleasers. So who are these people pleasers and how can they connect to codependency? They're the ones who disregard their own needs to please others, or in other words, making other people happy but sacrificing their own happiness for it. There are several traits for these people pleasers, like perfectionism, agreeableness, conflict avoidant, and dependent. So maybe from these traits you can see a big connection between. And another dominant trait of the codependent people are perfectionism. So according to some social psychologists and psychiatrists, this is the tendency for you to strive for flawlessness, to be perfect, and to not make mistakes. And based on their types, there are 3 branches to it. Self-oriented perfectionists may set extremely high standards for themselves. Like codependent people may ask themselves to be extremely responsible to their friend. Other-oriented perfectionists may set extremely high standards for others. So in this case, the codependent people may want their friend to do the same, or at least give the same amount of energy back. And socially prescribed perfectionists may assume that even when it's not real, that their friends may have extremely high expectations on them, like to be an extremely responsible friend. These traits together tie back to my questions in the beginning. Why would these people fear that their relationship will end? Why would they rely on their friends so heavily? And why would they hide their true selves, in some situations? Because they've put much energy into their friendship, but too much, to an extent that they fail to recognize that it is also important to feel their emotions, in some situations. So overall, although this type of personality may allow someone to be careful and perceptive, when it becomes extreme, it can also lead to great mental stress, which is not a good thing. Now that we know the problem, what could we do about it? Michelle Ferris, a licensed marriage and family counselor, once said this: "You are not alone if you have encountered this problem before or if you're experiencing this right now." Since one of the biggest challenges for codependent people are their lack of trust in self. So the overall solution would be to build a healthy relationship with self. Ferris provided many professional suggestions online, like on her YouTube channel. You could Google that for more information. But I think there are 3 key steps we could take. Feel your emotions, assess your friendship, and last, find the right support. As we know, humans have a lot of emotions every day, but for some of them, like angry, annoyed, anxious, depressed, some people may argue that they are not as positive as they sound just based on their surface meaning. That means when people encounter like these situations, they might tend to hide their emotions rather than reveal it. It's like when we ask someone who is sad, like, hey, what's wrong? That person may do not want to worry you, so they might reply, oh, nothing's wrong. It is understandable that we sometimes do not want our friends to be worried about us, but it is actually vital to target our emotions, to target the problem so we could know what to do next, because our feelings actually matter the most. Based on that, we could also learn to assess our relationship, friendship in this case. It is not about judging what is right and what is wrong, but about, based on how you feel, is this friendship worth saving to you? Or to you, do the emotional burdens outweigh the benefits and the energy you get back? You could just keep the ideas in your mind because they're your business to deal with. And do not feel embarrassed about thinking about this because it is a sign that you're taking care of yourself. And when it comes to making the final decision about whether to keep or leave this relationship, remember the prerequisite, how do I feel about this? If you feel fine about it, you think you two could work it out through communication or you have other strategies to solve your problem, continue. On the other hand, if you feel exhausted and tired or just think, well, it might be impossible or very difficult to work things out, quit it. This might sound, for me, when I first encountered this situation, it sounds strange to me because my immediate reaction was like, wouldn't that make me look like a bad person or an evil guy if I choose to end this friendship? But I'm gonna tell you, no, never ever. For codependent people, they are good at identifying other people's emotions and taking care of them, but they could not do that to themselves. So when we are trying to make that shift by just focusing on other people to care more about ourselves, it's a progress, it's a positive change. So why is that bad? It's not. However, notice, it will be really, really, really hard to recover in isolation. So find someone to accompany you throughout the way. These could be the people who you trust, like some other your peers, like your close friends, or some adults you trust that you feel comfortable sharing concerns with, or some therapists if you want to see for clinical advice. But the key is to not do this alone if you can. So I hope the 3 steps could help you recover from codependency if you have experienced one, or if you haven't experienced it now, but you could take notice of it. And now I have some final words, but this is beyond the codependency talk. Put yourself as your priority, not just your emotions, but other aspects of your life as well. Because this act will help you get a deeper understanding of yourself, maybe discover some details that you failed to acknowledge in the past. It is not about totally ignoring other people, but about first, save enough energy for yourself, and then spread the rest of your energy for taking care of other people. Because you should never solely sacrifice your own happiness for taking care of others. How can we do this? We could learn to cherish every moment in our lives, paying close attention to every detail if we could. I have to confess right here, 2 years ago, I participated in the AP Seminar program, and I had this project on people pleasers. And I came up with this conclusion that if people pleasers, like those who want to please others but sacrifice their own happiness, they might want to change their mindset and maybe think more about themselves. But to be honest, at that time, I had no idea what that meant. It's like I only had a vague understanding of it and couldn't really understand how we could do that. Because that was basically also the time when I struggled most with the codependency issue. Like I often concerned about like how my friends would think of me instead of focusing on the projects that I was supposed to do. But as I went on into senior 3, when I had this project of perfectionism, it's like I was trying to make that shift from just paying close attention to other people to myself. I get to know more details about me. It's like discovering some of the, some of my thoughts that I fail to recognize in this phase. Last but not least, I have something to say to my audiences. For those of you who have encountered the codependency issue before, not just with your friends, but with anyone, or if you're experiencing this right now, first, you're not alone. And second, I hope you could learn to prioritize your emotions, acknowledge them, assess your relationship with them, and find the right support to recover. Remember, it has already been brave of you if you want to take this first step, so it's not embarrassing. And to those of you who haven't encountered this already, and all of you in the lecture hall tonight, and those of you who might be watching online, you can also learn to prioritize yourself. Save enough energy for self-care, then care about others. These two do not conflict, but you might want to be responsible first to yourself and then to others. As an international ballroom dancer, my teacher once said to me, if you want to help other people or teach them something, you first need to understand it very well. So in this case, since codependent people may want to make others happy, if we want to make that effective, we first need to know how to do it when we're alone. We need to know how to be happy with ourselves, and then we could maybe impact more people to do about it. And finally, I'd like to give a special thanks to all of the people who have accompanied me throughout my way, like including my friends, teachers, and others. It's like, although I appreciate my own choices, but without you, I couldn't be standing here and giving this speech. And thank you for listening.